Welcome back to Session 2 of the JA It's My Future curriculum. Today's session is titled Career Clusters. In this session, students are going to be able to explore a variety of careers that are available and to see which ones they might want to research in the future. And we also want to highlight that all jobs, no matter what it is valuable to communities and are necessary for a good, strong community. So what you'll notice is that the introduction encourages you to have the students close their eyes and imagine various steps for their future. You may or may not choose to have the students actually close their eyes. Sometimes middle school students can get a little silly with that. But nonetheless, the concept of getting them to think about their future is so important. And often we don't just stop to imagine what it would be like after we've graduated and are moving into our future. So you can use the bulleted points in the introduction to walk the students through that mini icebreaker. Then you'll notice there are some talking points that are going to guide a discussion regarding the importance of thinking about what you might like to do even now in middle school. For example, the more that we can think about our futures, the more we can start making plans today and can be making choices. I always tell the students, for example, if I wanted to go into the medical profession, if I wanted to be a doctor or a nurse, I would really need to be good in what subject? And they always are able to tell me science and math. And I am not personally very good in science. So if I really wanted to be in the medical industry, as a middle schooler, as a high schooler, I would have wanted to pay more attention to my science classes. I would have wanted to potentially get tutoring, maybe shadow some clinics and find other avenues to be able to do that. So the more we're thinking forward, the more we can make steps along the way to get there. The other thing that we need to know is what is available. Sometimes the students only really know what their parents do in kind of a small circle, and they don't even realize the vast opportunities that are ahead of them. And so this activity is going to allow them to explore a wide range of career opportunities. This is going to be regarding the career clusters. And so what you'll notice is that for this activity today, the students are going to ultimately need the sticky notes, the career cluster inventory sheets, as well as the career cluster charts. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that you can hang up these charts. Now, please note there are 16 of them, so you might not have enough room to hang them up throughout the classroom. If you have time and space, feel free to hang them up with a little bit of space in between each so that the students have room to move around. If you don't have time or space to actually hang up the posters, feel free to scatter them around the room on top of students' desks. That will also work well. The other thing to notice is that on the career pamphlet inventory, the 16 career clusters are written in alphabetical order, and the way that the posters are also put in your packet are in alphabetical order. So if you have the opportunity to either hang them up or distribute them in order, that will help the students more quickly find where they are on their sheet and each poster. Because what this is going to allow the students to do is they are going to walk to each poster, and when they get to the poster, they're going to read the general description of the cluster, and then they're going to examine the chart kind of in a big picture overview and choose two of the careers and job titles that they might like to further research. And then they can record those two jobs on their inventory sheet. So what you'll notice is that each of these career clusters has a heading. So the broad cluster is in the purple section on the top, which is the heading. And then underneath that, each of these green chunks is the pathway that falls underneath that heading. And then below that are the specific career opportunities that are available. Now the book suggests that the students have about 10 minutes to mill from poster to poster to be able to complete this activity. That is not going to be enough time, probably, for the students to go to all 16 of the posters. So I would just have the students get to as many as they can, and again, they don't have to read every word on the poster, but we really want them to get the broad overview of what that career cluster is, and especially if it's one that they're interested in, to jot down some of those ideas that they can then research outside of class. So you're going to allow the students to work individually with this activity. And again, you can have them mill around the room if you were able to hang up the posters, or they can mill around from desk to desk as well. If they go in order, then they can most easily find where they are on their inventory sheet in conjunction with the poster. The next thing that they're going to do is combine some of those ideas into a mural. So once they have individually looked at some of these, you want them to go back to their seats and just have some of the students share some of the jobs that they would potentially like to get more information on. You can choose the cluster and say, hey, does anybody have something specific that you would like to share regarding this cluster? Or you can just pick and choose some of the students that found something that jumped out to them throughout the activity and just share some of those different ideas. And again, not every student will be able to go to all of the posters, so by hearing some of the ideas from some of the other students, they might be able to gain some additional feedback from this activity as well. Then you'll notice the book suggests that you break the students into small groups and to break them into groups of 4 students each. And what they're going to do is they are going to create a mural. This is a creative element that's going to allow them to be creative, but it does have a greater meaning. And what it is individually we have all of these different career opportunities. And we really want to highlight in this session that no matter what career on any of these posters might be, or even if it's not on one of these posters, every single career is valuable. And when they're sharing with the whole group some of the different careers that interest them, ask them, what would our community be like if we didn't have any, whatever it might be? What if we didn't have any trash collectors? What if we didn't have any plumbers? What if we didn't have any teachers? What if we didn't have any fill in the blank? And get them to think about how, even though we might not think that all of the positions are valuable, that really in order to have a well-rounded community, all positions are valuable, and what's really important is to find what is the best for me. What is the best thing for me? So we're going to take that individualistic idea and we're going to become broader and bring the students together to think bigger than themselves. And we want them to know that they need to work together to accomplish good things. In life, in all professions, we need to work well together. We need to have teamwork. And so that's what this last portion of the activities are going to allow the students to do. So break the students up into groups of 4 and then give each student one color of sticky notes. Now what the students are going to do is they are going to create a mural. And before they do that, what you want to do is you want to have them write some of those careers, some of those job titles that they were interested in on each of the sticky notes. And again, this is just going to re-emphasize some of those opportunities that are out there. Then they're going to create a mural, and there are some examples found in your guidebook of what this might look like. One thing the book suggests you to do is potentially to use the posters that the students had looked at and have them build their mural on the back of the poster. That way they have space to where they can connect the mural to, and then you might also have the opportunity to have the teacher hang them up potentially in between your visits, or somebody could take them home, etc. But that's just a great way to actually build their mural on the back of the poster. It doesn't really matter what colors they use, etc. We want all of the students to participate. So the idea is if every student has a different color, every color has to be represented in their mural. But it doesn't matter if they use 2 or 6 sticky notes of each color. They can pick and choose and be creative in their design. But the idea is that everybody needs to be able to work together and everybody needs to have the opportunity to participate. Then what you want to do is just in your summary and review, bring everything together. And again, remind the students that the reason we're exploring all these opportunities is because even though it's years in our future, we can start making choices today to help build us that direction, or to help us decide whether or not that's actually a route we're going to want to pursue before we spend a lot of time and resources getting there. You'll notice that there is information in the summary and review about the importance of planning, training, and education. And one way that you can flip that into an acronym is to use the acronym of PET. PET, planning, education, and training, and how valuable all of those things are for our future. So that's a way to make that a creative connection that they might remember as well. The 3 elements of importance: planning, education, training. And then finally, as you wrap up, you might want to consider making copies of the Cooter Navigator career assessment that's found in your guidebook as well. This is not something that's provided for you, but if you or your classroom teacher would like to have the students do this outside of class, you can make copies of them, copies of this page, and they can do it on their own. And sometimes a counselor, guidance program, or even the classroom teacher might have an opportunity to allow the students to do it in the library at another time outside of junior achievement. But just know that that's an opportunity and a resource for you that's available, and that we would encourage the students to consider some of their future career aspirations. Enjoy session 2.